Okay, so we'll get started. We're going to go right into our shaking protocol. This is a great way to, after you've been sleeping, this is a morning routine. I like to do my routines in the morning. It's just a great way to start your day, cleaning out your system, preparing it for what the day is going to bring for you. Why should we start our day feeling stressed out and, not breathing fully and deeply, stress, that starting your day with stress is just going to just pile on as the day goes on. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to inflame our body. We want to be really careful about inflammation. We're talking about the early summer. The element is fire. It's high energy right now. So we really want to try to watch that when we have, if you have too much energy, too much fire, it creates explosions, like the light bulb scenario. Too much energy will explode the light bulb. Not enough energy will be a dull light bulb. So it's kind of finding that neutrality again. We're always doing that. We're always creating a balance, a neutrality of our system. So this high energy season time of year, early summer, we want to watch the heat level, that we don't have too much heat in the body, especially the upper body. We want to try to cool that down so we're not so inflamed. Inflammation can create havoc on our system. So shaking in the morning is just a great way to get circulation going. We're turning on some of our systems right now. Just like your phone, you'll put it in the power source to amp it up, to get your applications working. This is what we're doing. We're going to start turning on our applications. This is our circulatory system application, getting some of those fluids moving throughout our body, especially for the joints. If you jump up and down on your heels a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of an upgrade of moving your lymphatic fluids. Lymphatic fluids tend to be a little bit harder to get moving. So we have to go in and actually manipulate that so they start to move through our system. The lymphatics are your filter system. So we're turning on the filter system, we're turning on the pumping system, we're turning on our circulatory system. And we're going to do the purging breath. So we inhale through the nose. You blow the air out through the mouth. This will release toxins. 70% of our toxins are released through the exhalation of your lungs and also through the elimination from your large intestines. So 30, 70, 100% elimination through the exhalation, full deep exhalation and elimination. So we'll do the purging breath, especially in the beginning of a class. Again, we're emptying out, we're releasing our toxins so we can clear our vessel. And then stop, and you should feel a little bit of tingling. Hopefully your hands are pink, feet are a little bit warmer maybe a moist mouth. Indication you've got some of that circulation going. We're gonna go right into charging up our proprioceptors. Those sensories that are in your skin that helps us to navigate our way in space. How do we move in space is due to a lot of our proprioceptors. They get a little desensitized as we age. And that creates a lot of falls because we don't know how to move our body in space because our proprioceptors are a little dull. So by activating the bottoms of your feet and the palms of your hands, and also tapping right under the nose, between the nose and the lips, those are 3 centers of the body that helps to charge those proprioceptors. So that's what we're doing by tapping the feet, rubbing the hands, and then you can also tap that center between the nose and the mouth. Again, that's what's so important about a morning routine. It helps to activate, again, our applications. Proprioception is one of our applications we want to keep very healthy. Now we're going to do what's called a crossover. This is crossing over our energy. Also, we're tapping those proprioceptors again. We're tapping the palms, we're tapping the feet, and we're also doing a crossover. All great stuff for balance. Crossover is really good for balance because we have a crossover energy. Our brain, the head, left side of your brain activates the right side of your body, and the right side of the brain activates your left side of the body. So that's a crossover right here between where the head and the body meet. Now, of course, we're all one unit, but we have these energies in the system, like the crossover. We have rotation. We have different directions that the body also moves in. not only on the outside, but also on the inside, we have energies like spiral and crossover, figure eights that happen, like if your DNA looks like a spiral. So those are energy movements. Energy wants to move and it has to move, and we want to move it in many different directions. So the crossover, great thing to do. And then shake out the hands. I'm going to do a little bit more crossover, squeeze the shoulder, cross it over. So if you're having brain fog during the day, do some crossovers. So if you've been working and thinking a lot, you probably need a little bit of crossover. You can also do this to someone, they're feeling kind of out of it, just do it on their back, just cross over their back. And that'll also help somebody get a little bit clearer, more alert. And then we're going to do a little bit more circulation, more proprioception awareness. We're going to warm up our hands again, and we're going to start to tap our head. So talking about fluids, we have the brain is 80% fluid, 20% is mass. That's a lot of fluid in the head. So we want to get that circulated. We also want to keep the head cool. So I talk a lot about keeping the heat down and the coolness up. We want to keep our head cool. We want to keep our heart cool, especially this time of year. High energy, high fire element creates hot head, hot heart, can create strokes, heart attacks, that kind of thing. So one way of getting some circulation to our head is just doing a little bit of tapping. And then we're going to tap underneath the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw. Again, move that around. We hold a lot in our jaw and our mouth. And again, tap that proprioception station, again, between the nose and the mouth. Then we're going to go right into cupping or tapping the top of your hand. And you're going to cup all the way up the arm. So now we're activating not only our proprioception, but also different electrical cords of the heart and the small intestine, your meridians, they call them. This particular tapping around the breast tissue is good for your lymph nodes. There's a lot of lymph nodes in this part of the breast tissue. So we're just keeping that circulated, activated. We're going to go under the armpit. This is heart meridian number 1, right under the armpit. This is good, especially if you're feeling a little depressed and you can't seem to get out of it. A little tapping here, the heart meridian helps to move that energy up. And then bring that down to the hip, under the armpit, and then bring it down to the hip again. Up, and then we come to the inside of the arm. Again, working on bringing heat to the surface of the skin by tapping and cupping, keeping that skin nice and healthy, keeping the collagen production nice and healthy. Your skin is your first defense for pathogens coming into the system. So by bringing some heat to the surface of the skin helps with closing off any pathogens that might start entering the system. So another reason for tapping and cupping to keep that the health of your skin healthy. And then we're going to tap instead of cupping here. Let's do a little tap, a little bit more dynamic tapping here in the lung meridian points. We have our lung meridian points here. We also have our kidney meridian points here, and we have a lot of glands, especially the thymus gland, which is right in the center of your sternum. That's a gland that also produces red and white blood cells for your immune system. And then we tap down the whole center line of our torso. Lots of organs right here in the torso, bringing circulation to them, activating, again, meridian points. And we're going to continue with inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth with this whole segment. And then we're going to come right to the groin area, over to your hips and femur bone, largest bones and muscles in the body. You could feel maybe a little vibration when you're doing that. And then we're going to cup it right down the side of our leg. Bring it up to the inside of the leg. Again, tap a little bit harder right here at the femur bone and hip bone. And then we'll go to the glutes. Give a little tap to your kidneys, adrenals, and the low part of the back. And we come down the backs of the legs. And we come up the front of the legs, and then we tap and slap the leg gates, the groin area, lymph nodes. Again, a lot of lymph nodes in this part of the body. Keeping the filter system working, getting those nodes open so they can filter out any toxins. So again, we're working on releasing any physical toxins in the body. We also work on creating some relaxation, openness to the body to calm that inflammation that the body might be feeling. And then hold and feel that vibration again. We're going to rise up our energy. We inhale, rise up through the day. As you exhale, you release anything you don't want to hold on to for your day. Inhale, rise up for the day. And then you exhale, release. We'll do one more. Rise up and exhale, release. We're going to come into a little bit more dynamic movement. It's fire season. We've got the heat behind us to help strengthen our muscles a little bit more this time of year. We're going to make what's called tiger claw. It's like you're holding a brass ring. And why are we doing this? Because we're activating the fire element of the heart and the small intestines, which the meridians are in these three major, the three fingers are your energy, your fire energy points. So we're activating those energy points in the fingers. And we're just going to move them one at a time, or you can do both at the same time. It's just keeping the integrity of the tiger claw, but you want to keep the arms nice and loose as you're doing this swinging back and forth with the arms. So the elbows come up as high as you can get them up, and then you just swing back the tiger claws. And we're going to continue with that breath. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Then if you want, you can do one at a time. And then if you want to add a bounce to it, add a bounce to it. So it's a little bit more active. So we start with this, the bouncing and the bringing the arm back, tiger claw hands, tiger claw fingers. And then if you want to add a little bit more dynamic to get the glutes working, then you bring one foot back and then you bounce. So this is called tiger bouncing. So you're going to notice that your heart rate will elevate. This is kind of like standing in place. It also, from the bouncing, you're using your thigh muscles, your calf muscles, again, a pumping action to get that circulation going. You're also using your glutes. If you want to even take it down further and a little bit more dynamic, now you're activating some of those larger muscle groups. And continue with your breath. If you feel like you're running out of breath, then slow it down. Gather that breath again. Try to keep the breath nice and full. And breathe from the diaphragm. Remember, the diaphragm muscle is your main muscle that helps with the breathing. And you can continue with purging. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. If you want to switch legs, then go ahead and switch. Good for the glutes, good for the thighs, calves, circulation. Good for purging toxins. It starts to warm up your shoulders. You're activating some major meridian points in the fingers for this fire element. And then we slowly slow it down. You don't want to stop abruptly. You want to start to slow down the system. Finding that breath. And let's decompress a little bit. We inhale and exhale. Ah. Decompress. Inhale. Ah. And one more. Inhale. Ah. And then we'll release. Let's come into dynamic standing. Since we've energized the body and circulated, We're going to hold our hands, our arms like we're holding a ball. And again, the reason why the fingertips are facing each other, those 3 fingers are our element fire meridian points, highly charged. And then the palms are transmitting some energy to our heart because we're in the heart organ phase for early summer. So we start with, 1 is fun. Lift the corners of your mouth up into that inner smile, which creates a joy factor. It creates dopamine, serotonin hormone to start dripping into your system, which helps to heal the body. That's the hormones we want to try to activate as often as we can. And then 2 is shu. We're bringing heat to the feet where we want our heat. 3 is tree, visualizing roots coming from the bottom of your feet into the surface of the earth. And 4 is core. We're going below the surface into our biomagnetic field, which is a magnetic field below us in the earth. That's what helps us from not drifting off into space. We are biomechanic electricity. So it's magnet touching magnet, the earth touching our feet, the magnet in our body, creating this energy and this groundedness. So we're grounded. And then 5's alive. We start to cultivate this energy we're tapping into and bringing it out, bringing through the body. Remember, energy wants to move and it has to move. Dynamic standing is active, and it's a great way to cultivate that energy, to tap into our energy source or power source. And then release. We're going to do 1 more time. We're going to gather this energy, and we're going to bring the palms of the hands together, just rest it at the heart center. And then this is called unlocking. So we're unlocking the heart. Now you're unlocking what? We're unlocking, maybe you feel like you have a heavy heart and you just need to lighten it up. So we let it go. We start to create the space in our heart center and let it go back into the earth so it can reprocess all of that energy. We inhale again, gather all this beautiful energy we've cultivated. We gather and bring the palms of the hands together, highly activated energy in the palms. We open up our heart, and if you're feeling love and compassion, let's bring it out. Let's bring that source of energy out into the energy field where the world could definitely use it. And then we release so we can gather, so we could seed itself again. So we're always finding that energy, cultivating it, smoothing it out, energizing it, always finding our neutrality, always finding our balance, not too much, not too little, but like the 3 bears, just right. And then release and noticing how your body feels. We're going to do tiger claws again, and we're going to do a little twisting with the tiger claw. This is called tiger looks at its tail. So this is a twisting flexion of the spine. I talk about bringing that spinal cord into 4 flexions every day in every way. This is our twisting flexion. And why do we want to do that? Because the spinal cord fluid, you want to get that moving, and the spinal cord houses your nervous system. So if the spine is congested and it's not moving in many different directions and flexions, it gets compressed. And we're blocking off a lot of energy flow in that spinal cord when it's compressed. So we're creating this twisting flexion. We'll start with twisting flexion, and we'll go into the other 3 flexions of forward and back and side to side as soon as we finish this one. So we're twisting the spine using tiger claw hands, activating that fire energy. And then again, we'll slow it down. Never want to kind of stop abruptly. Just let your body find its neutrality before you completely stop. Find your proprioceptors. Back to center. Take a couple of deep breaths here. We're going to come into forward flexion and back flexion. We'll start by bringing the sides of the elbow, the sides of the arm, the sides of the fists, of the wrists. And then as we inhale, we're going to open up, round the shoulders, round the arms, opening up to a back bend. As you exhale, you come into cat and hold it here for a few breaths. Feel that stretch. So you're rounding the spine. You're tucking your tailbone under, rounding the spine. This is our forward flexion of the spine. Your next inhalation, we inhale, we roll and open the front of the body, back flexion. As we exhale, we roll into calf flexion, opening up the back of the spine. We inhale, we open the front of the spine. We exhale, we open the back of the spine. Then take your time with this movement. I'll show you from the side of what it looks like. Back flexion, forward flexion. Inhale, back flexion. Exhale, forward flexion. Inhaling, back flexion. Exhaling, forward flexion. And when you're ready, you can take it to the other direction. It'll be a little bit different, but you're still getting the back flexion and the forward flexion. Connect with that breath. And notice how the breath connection helps to open your system a little bit deeper. And it's all about creating these openings, this clearing out. And then we'll release back to center. Left arm is down, right arm is up. So two opposing forces, one's up, one's down. Then we lean over to our left, opening up side flexion of the spine. We come back to center, one's up, one's down. First feel that stretch, then lean over to your right for a side flexion. And we'll just go back and forth, working at your own pace, feeling the side of your body beginning to open, because we have a side body. We want to move the spine into a side flexion. Every day and every way, we move the spine in 4 flexions. And you could do this rather quickly when you're working, maybe practicing on your own, or you can do it as slow as you need to, but you can get these 4 flexions in 5 minutes, maybe even less. So this is our side flexion. Now let's do a rotation. So rotation is not a flexion, it's a direction. We're rotating the spine. I just like to add that in because it's another movement for the spine. Really for the whole body. I mean, I feel this in my ankles, I feel it in my feet, I feel it in my knees, I feel it in my hips, I feel the rotation in my ribs and my torso, and I feel it in my shoulders and my head and my neck. And then we'll release. Let's separate the feet. We're going to bend your knees, hands, palms on thighs. We're going to drop our left arm down, drop your head, shake the head and the arm out, and then you rotate the arm in a circle like a pendulum. Take it to the other direction. Head loose, arms loose. We'll do the other arm. Drop the arm, circle one direction. When you're ready, switch the direction. And then slowly curl up, one vertebrae at a time. Head and neck is always the last thing to come up. We're going to do a full rotation of our shoulder joint. And then we're going to make a fist with the hand. I have my left arm forward. I'm going to reach it up. I'm going to look up at my arm, my fist. And now I start to turn the fist to face the back. I'm looking at it. My head's rotating with the arm. And then we do a full rotation. Now, if you can't do a full rotation, perfectly fine. You don't have to. Just take it to where it feels comfortable. The idea here is to have full rotator cuff flexibility. Then take it to the other direction. Then twist that wrist as it comes up or goes back and comes up. We'll do the other side when you're ready. So the whole body, the spine is also coming into this movement, this rotation. And when you're ready, take it to the other direction to get full motion, to get full rotation if you can. You know, if you're suffering from any rotator cuff stuff, take your time with this. You won't have to bring your whole arm in the full rotation. And then we'll release. Let's come up onto our toes and we're going to spread through the fingers. And then release the heels, clap the hands. Again, stretch out through the fingers and the toes, drop the heels, clap the hands. We're going to make birds speak with the hands out to the side, getting a really nice stretch through the backs of the shoulders, through the ligaments and tendons in these crane beaks. And then we bend the knees and we're pushing the pillars away. Isometric movement. Use your muscles to move the arms through the fingers. The backs of the arms and hands come together. So we're internal rotation of the shoulders. So this is a good time to do a couple of neck rotations here because the back of the shoulder blades are nice and open. You can also twist the neck. And then we come up the buttons. Backs of the hands and the arms come together. Again, internal rotation of the shoulders. And we start to come forward, just a half forward fold. Don't come all the way forward. And then slowly come up. This is called offering the fruit. As we inhale, exhale, clap the hands, crane's beak. Exhale, push the pillars away from each other. Backs of the arms and hands come together. Come up the buttons. And now we can come into our full forward fold. All the way forward. Once you're here, just drop the arms, let them hang. You can widen your stance if you like. Shake out the head and the neck, shake out the upper body. Got your weight of gravity helping open up the neck and the shoulders and the arms. And then you can bend one knee at a time as we open up the inner edges of the legs, the outer edges of the legs. We're going to do a high lunge. We're going to start to bring our left hands to our left foot. You're pivoting both feet towards the left, bending that left knee, making sure that knee's directly under your heel. Your thigh, your right thigh lifts up towards the back of the right hamstring, engaging through the heel, coming into this lunge, really feeling the stretch in the legs and the power in the legs of this lunge. We'll come back to center, bringing your hands to the right, pivot both feet to the right, into the high lunge on this side, knees even with your right heel, left thigh moves into the back of your hamstring, really engaging your hip, and you're pulling back with that heel into your high lunge. And then we'll come back to center. One more forward fold here. We bend, bring the feet in a little bit. We're bending the knees a little bit, hands on the knees as you slowly curl up. One vertebrae at a time. We're going to reach the arms all the way up overhead. Stretch again through the feet and the hands. Then release the heels. Arms come out to the side, and we're going to do a side stretch again. Side flexion. And then back to center, over to the other side. We're going to do one more forward fold to get the whole entire back body open. Gather the sun. This is called gathering the sun. We cross our ribs, scrub the ribs, hands to your low back, belly towards the back of the spine. You look forward, and then when you're halfway forward, then you can drop your head and neck and touch the earth. The whole body's opened here now. We're starting to create a lot of flexibility in our back body from the toes to the fingertips. Soften the knees. Hands on thighs, arch the back into dog tail. Round into cat and slowly come up one vertebrae at a time, back to standing. One more. Gather the sun. We'll scrub the ribs, engage the abdominals, hands to low back, and we start to reach towards the earth. Gathering the sun to touch the earth. Full forward fold, opening up your entire back body. And then slowly bend the knees, arch the back, round up one vertebrae at a time, stacking each vertebrae on top of each other as you come back to your dynamic standing, noticing how your posture feels. Do you feel more rooted, more lengthened, more engaged? Let's come into horse riding stance. Heels come together and then we release the heels. The feet come out, the heels come back in, and then bend your knees. Maybe you need to go wider in the stance. It's really up to your flexibility here. Now, when you bend your knees, you want to be able to still see your toes. That's your horse riding stance. Root down through those legs, really like you're actually like riding a horse. You're using your inner thigh muscles here. As we inhale, we rise up. As we exhale, we shift into the heels, bending the knees. Look down and make sure you can still see your toes. That's your horse riding stance. Engaging the legs, tuck in that tailbone. We're going to come to our knuckles. Bring the knuckles together. We bring our torso to our right, and we start to pull the bow. We're pulling the bow, pulling that elbow back, and your right hand arm moves forward. Release the arrow. Inhale, gather, slide down. Make sure your knees are where they're supposed to be. Knuckles meet. We twist our torso to the left, and we start to pull the bow. Elbows goes back, and left arm comes forward. So it's a push and a pull. Release the arrow, and then come back to your horse riding stance. And then straighten the legs, fist with the hands. Thumb is on the outside of the knuckles. Place your right fist under your left, so we're stacking. Then we turn, then we scrub the ribs and bend the knees. Stack, turn, scrub, punch. Stack, turn, scrub, punch. So again, pulling back with the elbow, lengthening through the front arm. Same principle as the pull the bow to shoot the arrow. Horse rides king rides its horse with fiery eyes. Complete concentration. Movements coordinating with the lower body and the upper body. And you inhale as you rise up and you exhale as you come down. And then we'll release. Legs come together, shake them out. Both fists in front. We're gonna take the left elbow back as we push forward with the right. We switch arms. So it's a pull and push. This is called reverse punching. Using the force of both arms as one goes back, the other one comes forward. Now we're going to add to this. When you're punching, you lift the opposite knee. Opposite knee, opposite arm. And you could do one at a time, just do the arms, then lift the leg. If you want a little bit more dynamic, then you upgrade it a little bit by doing it a little quicker. This helps with coordination, helps with balance, helps with proprioceptors. It helps with strengthening your glutes, the thighs, the leg muscles. It's a stepping motion. It's like you're going upstairs. Really good to do this because we want to balance on both sides of the legs. Again, this creates a little bit of a heart rate level up. And we're inhaling and exhaling, finding that breath as you do these motions. And then we'll slow it down, again, at your own pace. Don't stop all at once. Decompress, slow it down. And then we'll inhale. One more, inhaling. We come back to center. Let's sway from side to side like a bamboo in the wind. If you feel any knotting and congestion, let it go now. Because we're opening up that vessel. We've opened up our breath, deepened it. We've opened up, hopefully, knotting, congestion. And we find our neutrality once again as we come back to center. Let's start to lean forward and back on the feet. We're going to start opening up the flow now. We opened up all our systems. All systems go. The juices are flowing. Now we go to flow state. Inhale, gather. Exhale, shift into the heels. Inhale, gather. Exhale, shift into the heels. This time, step your right foot out. Pinky fingers touch as we inhale, gather that earth energy. Exhale, it's all about letting go. Exhale down. Inhale, start to rise up as you return back to center, fully opened. Inhale, we gather what we need. And we exhale, we let go of what we don't need. We inhale now, feeling balance, returning back to our center. Inhaling, gathering what we need. Exhale, releasing. And then we inhale and we return, balance, strength, strong. Inhale, gather. It's this cycle of gathering, inhaling, exhaling, and letting go. So then we can return feeling balanced and renewed. We'll do one more. Inhaling, gathering. Exhaling, it's in the letting go. And then we can inhale and return back to our center. And then we'll inhale again. We're going to gather. Bring that energy right to the heart. Unlock the heart again. Soothe your heart. It's wide open and it's clear. And let go. And then we'll bring the hands together, creating that oneness, that union of our body, our mind, and energy. Opening up the bloom, your bloom. Flowers open to the light. We bloom, we open to our own light. Set an intention here. Today, I invite into my life whatever you need. Ask from the universe what you need today. We'll close the flower, we'll close the bloom, protect that inner light, that inner source. We return to where we started, back into our sitting posture. So we can assimilate, we can discern what we need, what we don't need. We can tap into the mindfulness of what this practice of Qigong brought for you. So just take that time to integrate. Notice how your breath is, maybe notice how your body feels, emotionality, similar to the mindfulness practice we did from the beginning. And we'll end with 3 rounds of Om. One is Om means peace. We're bringing peace, the vibration of peace within ourselves, the vibration of peace to someone who needs it today, and the vibration of peace out into the world. And then we'll begin. Inhaling. And then bringing the palms of the hands together as we seal our practice, letting it bring for you whatever you need. And namaste. Thank you for joining me this morning.